Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, testing, testing. Let's see. Are we actually live streaming? We're gonna pick up where we left off earlier. Yes, we are back where we left off. Okay, so I actually did a few things off screen. This is like the one thing that just happens over and over again of like off screen stuff. So off screen, what happened was, if we go to projects right here, we have Scrum board. I can maximize this. I went ahead and added all the tasks because might as well add all the tasks. Num 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 num. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a new column here. We're gonna call this one backlog, even though this is literally called the backlog board. Text label text backlog. So yeah, we're gonna call that the backlog, and we want to put that at the beginning because that's where backlog stuff will go. Shoo. Yeah, because we're gonna want all of these things to just not worry about them. So things that we want to do is the C++ compile stuff. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do C++ compile, but let's talk a little bit about the features in the backlog that I just made here. So we're gonna have bubble containers. So that's like the graphical stuff that I want to do in our application. That's why we're gonna call it whatever stuff. It's gonna be like, like a bubble kind of setup-ish or box. It doesn't have to be a bubble, it could be a box, but I'm just gonna call them bubbles. The bubble containers has children that can also be bubbles. So that'd be pretty good. Actually, let's write these out. Let's actually write out the stuff of these things. I kind of wonder, how do you edit? Like, what can I do with one of these issues? We can assign it to somebody. We can generate a label. We can project whatever is project it's in. Milestone relationship development. I don't know if there's a way to add some other stuff, but we can do. Let's just add comments then. We'll just throw in the comments. So I think what we're gonna do. So bubble containers is gonna be. This will be a class of some sort. Class. It will be like a GUI class, or it'll be a class for a GUI object that can store other bubble containers, or it can store or hold a reference to other bubble containers. And actually, I'm trying to think about this. You can store or reference other bubble containers. You can store a history ID. I gotta think through this a little bit because we're actually now I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking kind of like how we're actually gonna structure how everything's actually built in our application that we want to build. So this will be a class for a GUI object that can store or hold. Let's just do that, and then like maybe do like a list here. Reference to other bubble containers. Maybe I guess this will be more of like a suggestion because we might end up later on editing this or figuring out what we might want to do differently. I'm thinking I can store a history ID because I can see how like when you have a bubble that has the command in it and everything, it might need a history ID. It might need probably a command assigned to it, aka because it'll be a command. Even if it's the child will have a command that ran it. So it's kind of like the result of those said things. And you can grep, aka we can like make grep into other bubble containers of some sort or something like that can like or connect these bubbles together. So I don't know, I'm kind of thinking that like this will need to store a history ID, command, and reference to output. Or wait. Let's call this input. Let's say input and output. So it depends on what type of container. It depends on type of container that is constructed. And then for in versus out. Then it can have a reference to output or a reference to input. That way it can be able to, like, you know, vice versa. So these will be like a whole bunch of things that upon construction of a bubble container, it'll kind of create one or the other, but it'll have reference to it. There might be instances where I'll have both, where an input creates an output, which the output then can maybe create a command on the output, which then creates a reference to another output. Thus, the output becomes the input in that point, or the command becomes that input, which has an output and reference, so on and so forth. It could just like link all the way down. Who knows? I'm just thinking like other ideas how this could work. So I think that's good. I think we're gonna do that. Can I edit these? I can't edit these. Okay, so that's a thing that we can go into later on. So I think that's how we're gonna do our bubble containers, or at least how we will when we get to it. We need to do a compile successful. That's something we'll just see if we can do today. Maybe if my wife or kid doesn't pull me away from this live stream and stuff, but well, like we did last live stream. But that's okay. All right, so we got bubble container, pin bubble components, combo of making it. Okay, yes, I already have that one. Kind of a description. Minimize output bubbles under. I think this is just more of a hide. Yeah. Oh, I can actually edit this right here. Basically a hide feature. A hide GUI feature. And swap the minimize button. I think at some point we'll have to figure out a whole command system for all this, because I do want this to work via commands and aliases. So I actually, speaking of which, that might become a thing. So this will be a waterfall command setup page. So the waterfall setup page, I think that will probably be a UI thing, but then there will be a backend thing to it. Waterfall command setup, where I actually do, like, these commands would have like triggers to all the different combinations of creation, getting, and whatever things. So that might be something that we do at some point later on. This will be platform. Okay, so that's two things that we'll do later on. All right, so we have custom themes, self-described. I think that'll change as we get to it, so I'm not going to add any details. Very self-explanatory, custom backgrounds, opaque, stuff like that. Maybe it can tie to themes. Minus command bubble to get rid of it. That's a quick, self-explanatory. Waterfall command page setup, we kind of added that. Custom text animations, that we'll get there, and we'll edit that when we get there. Click hyperlinks, file directory management. This, whoops. I need to edit this. So this will be split later for the following. This will be GUI side that basically, so I'm thinking that we'll basically need to create some kind of like files available list that basically creates a files available list under the bubbles, and you can click on it and such. Also, this could also be a separate system for file management. I don't know. I'm thinking this could turn into like something way different later on, or like just needs to be split up into a bunch of other to-dos. Custom fonts makes sense. In-app alias config, that is alias. Just basically want to make it so people can just edit aliases and it works every time to, like, you start up a terminal, basically. So like it like works in conjunction with the terminal, and possibly those aliases can be sourced from a normal terminal, so you can actually use the same aliases in a different terminal than just our own terminal. Maybe, you know, universalness is nice. Cursor input. Oh, whoops, that's like a bad spelling right there. Let me input. So that's basically so we can use a cursor like around the screen. We can click on that area of the screen and it takes us there. And if it is something we can edit it from there. and so on and so forth. Actually, I kind of wonder if you click on a bubble that is already ran, you can edit it, but that editing will actually instead create a new bubble or overwrite your current bubble that you would be in and do it from there. And then when you press enter or any other kind of thing, it kind of just brings it down. I think that would be a cool functionality. Let's write that down because that actually might be something that works. When you click a historical bubble, aka not the active one, it will pull all the command data or output data to current bubble and make it so you can run off it or do something with it. I think that'll be a cool kind of feature. So we'll throw that in there for that as a comment. Cause create history log, that makes that self-explanatory. Input command line commands, that's self-explanatory. Create input output module, that is like the back end of just creating the input output module for like it. So we'll compile C++, create input output, then do command line commands, then yeah. So I think that'll be like kind of like a when to the next kind of thing. And waterfall command setup. This is for like hotkey command. Actually, this is more like waterfall hotkey. Hotkey. I feel like that would be different. Yeah, that's different because we have one for command line inputs. So that's like more like a waterfall hotkey setup. All right. I think this is a good start. I think we have a lot of things to work on. I'm pretty sure we'll add like many other tasks later on. We'll probably create subtasks to clear it all up, to make it all work, and blah, blah, blah. I think we're good right here. I think we're gonna go from this to just, I guess we go build this project out. AA. So let's click on this. I think you can just go to the waterfall terminal, right? Right here. Boom. Booyah. Okay, let's do some coding now, eh? Hey. Let me pull up a terminal really quick. Let me cd to projects. Let's cd to, actually, what is all my projects here? We got like a bunch of random stuff. Do we need this project? This isn't really anything, to be honest. We kind of just want to start from scratch because this is a Python project that never worked out. This is stuff I got from AI probably. Yeah, I think this is good. Or good to delete. So we're going to remove -r everything in waterfall terminal plugin. That kills everything. All right. Now let's pull this code base down. I kind of have a kind of start to this. So let me pull my code over, get repo clone that. Excellent. So if we file open folder, we'll go to our waterfall terminal, open that. There we go. We're in the project. All right. We have our README. We got our blah, blah, blah stuff. I'm just going to add a couple things really quick. We'll edit these features later on. We'll come back and probably like once we have a consolidated list of just like the true real features of the terminal like that people can use and do, that's when we'll probably edit this. That was something that we'll just do later on. All right, we got our main.py script, and apparently we have stuff. Let's install something in C++ extensions because we'll probably need it to do our terminal and such. So let's see how this works. Let me pull up a thing because I actually have no clue how we're going to program in all of this. So yeah, I wonder, can I like, there we go. Like, look at this. I can just How's that for a live stream? We got like that kind of combo going on. Alrighty. I kind of like this setup for a live stream because it kind of is like we might need this in the top right for like commands and whatnot. Okay. I guess one thing we don't have is we don't have a setup for AI for at least you guys to read my AI that I might use. So let's go to go/copilot right now. I'm gonna, since I have no idea how to program C++. I understand it's an object-oriented language, but like syntaxically, I don't understand it. Like, actually, I don't know. It kind of looks pretty decent. Like, this is just. Wait, why can't I click into it? Wait. Something's going on here. Let me close that and reopen it. Visual Studio Code. Okay, that was weird. We lost connection to our Visual Studio Code apparently, or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, it kind of looks pretty std string command. I don't know exactly how. It looks like that's a library of some sort. While true. Yeah. I just realized C++ is not a white space language, meaning we can just do whatever we want with white space. Oh, it's been a while since I've done that. I've been done so much stuff in Python that like it's been a while. I guess I've been doing a lot of SQL stuff lately at my jobs and such that like that's not white space needed, but other than just a space between things. But that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna tell the AI that I have a C++ script and I want to compile it. How do I do that? I am on Bazite Linux just for reference, just in case, just in case. I don't know if it is truly needed. This is like a weird, like open anyway. Oh, it's like an encrypted file or something like that. I'm guessing. Oh, that's might be a compiled file. All right. How do we compile in Linux? Make sure C++ installed. Open a terminal and run. So let's do G++ over in top right up above me. And we'll do version and just see if it works. C++, cover free. Okay, this is free software. Sweet, C++ works. We're good, right? We got C++. We're good. If not installed, navigate to your directory. Okay, cd into where we need to go into waterfall terminal. Okay, then we need to compile your C++ file, assuming your file is named, blah, 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 run, blah, 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 .o. Pro tips for setup. If you're working with multiple source files, compile like this. I want debugging symbols for GDP. Okay, I think this will like compile one script, but this is going to become a overarching program. So we need to, I do see there's some people giving me hearts in the chat. Thank you. But we might want, what the frick, my chat is like, there we go. Okay, chat fix. I can actually like see what's going on in chat a little bit. All right, so we need to compile. Okay, my C++ program will become a vast application with multiple scripts. How do I compile entire application? Because that's more, I could compile right now with C++ with one script. That's probably not too hard. But I need to figure out how to compile the entire application. Okay, so it gives me a structure. All right, the structure for this C++ is right here. Just saying, is or can I? Should I just like put this in the top right, maybe like up here, and then can I like minimize this left side? There we go, so we can kind of see. You guys can see with me. There we go. Everyone can see now. So organize your files like this. So basically, we want my projects or my project, which is that, with src. Inside of src, your src source code. Or source. Is src source like a minimize or a source code? Interesting idea. I've never actually pondered that. But we have our main.cpp, we have game.cpp, utils.cpp, include game utils, blah blah blah. We don't have include. What is this? I don't know what this thing is right here. No idea what this is. Apple. I'm gonna delete this thing. I don't think that's anything we need. I think that was a config file of some sort. Yeah, I think that's a config file of some sort that was from my old machine that I was using to maybe start this project. Okay, all right, we gotta include a build, a make file, or a cmake list.txt option. Manual compilation with G++. You can compile all the C+ files manually. So I can just do this and it just like compile. Tells the compiler where to find your header files. -o, my app name of the output executable, but this gets messy fast as your project grows. Option 2, use a build system, highly recommended. So a maker approach, create a maker file in your root directory. Hello, Daydream, how are you doing? Hey, do you know? I have no idea what that is. Harf Buzz? No idea what that is. Sometimes I have to put pauses in between words that people like ask me about because you never know if I'm about to like read something and it makes myself look stupid or whatever. But yeah, I don't know what that is. Elaborate for me. But we're gonna go back to this. Okay, so we can make a maker file. So basically it has cxx equals g++. cxx, what's the x's for? Are those x's actually real x's, or do we need to put something for those x's? So we got a while include, source, wildcard, all the files. So source, what is this? Any .c files equals .o. Target, my apps, that's where it's probably gonna be saved to. All target, clean, then run make. Why use make? Only recompiles changed files. Oh, easy to automate. Works great with Ccache or faster builds. CMake for cross-platform. It is a C library for handling the text shaping for your new terminal. We're gonna do something very crazy with our terminal. So we're building from the ground up because all current terminals can't do the visuals that I want. So basically, in reality, this is more like a video game that has terminal functionality. I feel like that's what it's better described as, what I'm like the end goal, because I want it to be a high definition terminal. So it wouldn't be something that you would use to do rudimentary access to things like installing like an entire system. It'd be more of like a development thing to like help developers that are just developing stuff, not specifically system related stuff. So it's going to be very like niche on that. Hello, Nino. How are you doing? Harflow's open source text shaping library, and its use case is mostly for glyphs. Wait, what? GLFs? I'm guessing it's glyphs. Interesting. I can take a look into that later. I can maybe put a note to take a look at that later. Harf, but okay, yeah. Just gotta take a note of that. All right, but making CMake for cross-platform builds. This is good because I was kind of thinking that this project might become something where I would like this terminal, once made, can be able to execute on Windows, Mac OS, Linux, like all the above kind of thing. So maybe this is a good option. So use CMake files, include directory, blah blah blah, file, execute source, and is a source? Is that the type? Sorry about typo. Harfbuzz. It's used to make glyphs mostly, yeah. I don't know exactly what glyphs are when it comes to like what you guys are referencing. So, like, yeah, I don't know what a glyph is. When it comes to coding, that's a foreign word to me. I've never heard of glyph in coding or glyph in stuff done software. Then build CMake, blah 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 blah. Okay, I think we're gonna go with the CMake because we want to learn how to build a C++ open cross-platform kind of thing. So let's do this. How do we do this? CMake minimum. So create a CMake list text. Okay, so create new file. This file is going to be called CMake list.txt. All right, we made a CMake file. Include all this crap. All right. Project. I'm guessing this is the name of our project. Waterfall terminal. I don't know exactly if dashes are going to be accepted. We'll give it a try. So you are making a game, not terminal. In the very high level sense, to a very terminal use developer, it might feel more like a game than it is a terminal. But terminals that would be amazing for developers. So this is the whole idea of this is because one, I want to make a better or a more user-friendly graphical interface, but has all the functionalities of a terminal. So it is a terminal, but also include lots of functionalities. Like I equate it to a game because a game like is more graphically, inclined for users. Terminals are not built for users. Terminals are built to do commands on the command line. So that's why I like to use the game analogy. So it's not strictly a game. It's just that I'm saying a game because to a normal terminal user, it'll just be like, wait, what the fuck? This is like a completely different like animal than what I'm used to. But it has everything. So it's literally after a minute of like playing around with it, they'll probably realize it's basically a terminal. That's basically what I'm kind of get the feel for it. At least in my head. This is all in my head. I haven't touched anything. I'm literally trying to figure out how to compile C++ here. This is whatever. Yeah. So then build. Okay, so I'm guessing we need to do this. What's sources? This specifies the list of the paths to a source file for the target. The following commands are also okay. src star cpp. This, I know the AI thing over here didn't really give me many instructions on this. I'm assuming that's something that we change. And then this is something that we could keep fine how it is. Oh, I see. So this is globe. So this is assigning this to this, I think, of some sort. I think that's probably what's doing. Good luck, bro. That's what Mitchell Hashimoto tried to make. They are developing Live Ghostly now in dev. Wait, Michael Hashimoto. 1 second. I don't know. I don't know that name specifically. Hashimoto. What is this guy? A developer. HashCorp. Okay. Should we try it, guys? Feature rich and cross-platform terminal emulator. I don't feel like downloading. I'm gonna so let me look at this because I've been trying to find examples of like stuff that like I basically am trying to build, and I have not found any examples. All right, hey. Prime time. Love this guy. Great. Of all, it's written by somebody that I have a lot of respect. Like say that she'll just Okay, he's barely using it.
Play around and use just files to see like just the task runner. Is it actually good? Is it actually gonna be something I want to use all the time? I don't know.
Okay, we're building something completely different. He's just building like terminal emulator. That's all he's building. He's not building like what I'm building. That is really cool animation. I gotta say, this sells it so good. That looks so good. Whoever, like this guy that made this, like this just that sells a product just by having that. Okay, but yeah, we're not making the exact same thing. He's building a terminal emulator. Yeah, I'm building a terminal emulator and then a lot more on top of that. I guess he probably has a lot of features in his terminal emulator, but the features I'm striving for is like I'm veering off the path of a normal terminal. So yeah. Yeah, they're all making a C ABI that is or ABI or API that is going to power a core terminal operating and does boil top of that like a Chromium. Interesting. I'll have to look into that later at some point. This project is gonna be, I don't know, this project might be awesome, it might not at some point, like my project, but we'll see. All right, so let's control C S that. Let's go to our, where's our terminal on top? Oh wait, let's let's grab this. So make build, cd build, cmake make. Okay, so that's like all the stuff for that. So make build and cd build, cmake make. Let's try this. Oh, I need to probably ask the AI, how am I going to actively build my thing? Like, while test it more often? I feel like it's gonna get a little weird. All right, so it built something. It made me a whole build and all the other stuff. Build target waterfall. Let me see. Did this like do something for me? CMake install. Is this? It's an executable. Launch? Nothing? Nada? How does this work? What did it made it executable. Is this like a Windows executable? Is this like what? Just waterfall terminal. Type executable. What's the dot whatever type? um, um just do .exe in terminal. What the? Change mod plus X waterfall, capital W waterfall terminal. Waterfall terminal. Oh, look at that. Hey. All right. We got a basics. It is a terminal. We have replicated a terminal apparently. But the problem is that's running inside my terminal. If I actually, if I like launch this as is, will that launch it in a new sense? No. I want this to launch in a separate file, like a separate terminal, if you know what I mean. How does this work? Okay, so let me try something really quick. Let me try like PS auxiliary. I'm gonna grep for this. I want to see if this is like running in the background or did something weird. It looks like, is that my Visual Studio Code? No, that looks like a process. Like, this is my grep. Wait, so it's something running in the background? I'm so confused. I don't know what's going on here. I'll just kill these. For creating window, use raylib to create one. Okay, I was going to use QLibrary. I don't know if QLibrary is exactly what I need to use. I just know it has like that. Like when I was researching libraries, it had, or the Qt library, I think that's what it's called. We'll see. Okay. I think we're at a step where we created an executable. It looks like it runs in command line, does, basic commands. I was doing this the other day, right? The thing that we built just now was something I built the other day. Well, AI built. I basically was just reading through it and understanding what it does. So basically, it takes in the I/O of the system, string class, CST library. I don't know what this library is, to be honest. But yeah, simple emulator. Yeah, so it just does whatever. It gets a line command equals exit, and it does system commands. So basically executes system commands. Yeah, so that's a whole built-in thing for, stuff. Actual windowed terminal. So, AI, help me. Where's my thing? Okay, because we wanted to do, so language C++, we want to do, okay, so I have a compiled terminal, or a compiled C++ project that I'm trying to think what I need to ask. The actual question I need to ask. So I have a C++ project that runs in terminal as a terminal, basically. But big but I want to make this run in its own window. To do this, can I use the Qt library to do that, or would I have to use some other library or make from scratch? Who knows? I don't know. Just might as well learn a little bit. So raylib, model hallucination detection on first line. Model hallucination detection on first line. Don't know what that is, but yeah. All right, so absolutely, Qt is a fantastic choice for turning your terminal-based C++ into a full-fledged GUI application with its own window. You don't need to start from scratch. Qt gives you all the tools to wrap your existing logic in a graphical interface. All right, modular, you can keep your terminal, blah, blah, blah. Okay, how to transition your app to a Qt GUI. Install Qt in Qt Creator. But as I run this here, I don't know. How do we do this so you guys can see multiple things? I feel like our screen's already filled with so much crap that it's kind of hard to adjust so you guys can see everything I'm doing and whatnot. Frick, I forget what's the command you're supposed to do, because I don't think my Bazlight thing can actually do DNF. It's actually, here, give me a second. Actually, I could do DNF, and then it'll give me a warning basically on what I should and shouldn't do or something like that. Here it is. Yeah, this is the RPM OS tree. Yeah, that's what it wants me to use. All right, let's do that. Let's do RP dash. Okay, let's do that. Wait, what just happened? RPM OS reinstall is already provided by blah blah blah. Use dash dash allow for explicitly requiring it. Oh, all right. We already have it. I think we already have it. I'm pretty sure we already have it. So I'm not gonna worry about that. Okay, we got it. All right, so create Qt Windows application. Use Qt Creator to start a new. Oh no. Choose Qt applications widgets applications and set up your .pro or CMake list. Embed your terminal logic. Move your. I guess I never actually looked into this enough, did I? Let me look up this Qt C++ library. I thought this is something that you program and work with inside of C++. Um, here I'll Raylib. Qt is Lego. But what if I want Lego? Well, let me see. What's Raylib? Raylib is simple and easy to use library to enjoy video games programming. Examples. I want to see some examples. Like, we're not making. Like, I don't want to judge a book by its cover. That's what I'm trying to look for. I'm trying to look for something that like just strikes. These are all graphical applications that we're not making, but like basically the application I'm trying to make is more similar to a JavaScript application, most likely. Because like a lot of the inspiration of what I'm kind of going for, it actually is stemming more from it's the one the Matrix dude. It's here. Where's the project that I was looking at? The thing that I'm making aligns more similarly to the Edex Edex. If you guys ever seen this project, yeah, this right, or this thing. This is more similar to the idea of a project I'm trying to make, except for their entire project was made in JavaScript. So I'm not trying to go for like JavaScript really. But like this is kind of similar to the idea I'm trying to make. I'm just trying to make it more modernized, like a completely different coat of paint over it. That's kind of what I was going for. So just to give you an idea, like that's kind of a little bit what I'm going for. This probably could do that. But then again, I don't know what limits Raylib might have. Oof, this is loud. Let me like just mute it for a second. Yeah, it makes games. Yeah, it could make games. That's not good. I don't think it's the like this is why I'm actually almost saying like I'm gonna have to go back on Qt. Let me look at this Qt thing because this might not be what. Do they have examples? Development tools. I'm trying to think how I do this because I think I've been going about this the entirely different or like a different way. I think I've been thinking about building this project by basically building from scratch using a library to help me. But it seems like when I look at graphical libraries, those are something that you kind of build on the fly, like building the fly coding, which is a lot different than me. I was literally thinking like it'd be all code based, like I build like a module class and that class has blah blah blah. I guess these probably could do that. I just gotta find out the like workflow of it. Hmm. Also, wait, is this the actual thing that I'm trying to like? I think it is. Maybe I think this is what, or is it this 1 billion? Is this the same thing? Qt. It looks like the same icon. Yeah, same icon. Hmm. I wonder if we just, this is maybe something we should build from the ground up. Completely build from scratch. Pre-built UI, you can't achieve that kind of UI, the UI you wanted. Let me just skim through this thing really quick. Let me just see what like the workflow looks like. Blah blah blah. I don't care. Okay, you're using a graphical thing that uses C++. Yeah, is it the thing I want? Just something I can build from scratch? Is that what I'm thinking? Oof, this is about to become like a 5-year project rather than just a 1 or 2 year project. Oh gosh. I gotta rethink how I imagine this going, because essentially the whole, like, we already literally in like, what is this, 25 lines of code, we have a terminal as it is. At this point, we need to figure out how we're going to implement this terminal to do all the things that I want to do. Frick. Gosh darn it. I think I've hit a weird block or like brick wall of like how I'm gonna do this. This is why I need to take some like trying to like figure out how certain things work. And you said, oh wait, you just suggested RayLib. I need like a video of RayLib. Installing, you can start with RayLib C tutorial, or easiest C++ C, okay. Game framework. Okay. Project creation. You can kind of see. I wonder if we build this kind of from scratch and then we'll probably at some point reapproach how we're going to go about the UI, because there's a few things that I need to work through to understand some of the UI business. So let's like from scratch. Let's see if the AI can help me with this. I have the following C++ code to basically run a terminal. How do I make this boot, the executable boot as a new window, so it basically is a independent terminal. All right, let's see. Let's do that. Just see making a window in RayLib. So the problem is I have ambitions that this thing needs to also be able to like have plugins to be able to do different themes and different stuff like that. But in order to do that, you basically need to have a standardized way of how somebody would make a theme, because somebody needs to make a theme that they can throw in there. And that theme I haven't quite figured out in my head. And since I can't figure out how that theme would work, like how like the actual config files of a theme would work, that kind of puts a big halt to how it works in general. So yeah, I gotta like think through this a little deeper almost. I have the visuals. I literally even wrote down like, or like drew out like the final product of what I want it to look like an active window. But I think this is something I want to almost like how I do the logic to build this thing. Like it's something I would do from scratch almost. The senior your compiled binary is named my terminal. You can run blah blah blah. So this is more of a compiling thing, right? You can also embed this into a wrapper or call this. No. This is not what I want to do. No, wait. I want to build a GUI terminal emulator. If you wanted your terminal emulator to run its own graphical window, not just a new terminal, you'll need to integrate with a GUI framework like blah, 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 blah. How does GNOME terminal work? Or how does GNOME terminal work? I can't spell apparently today. Gosh darn it, or I can't type. The graphical emulator based on the GNOME desktop environment. It acts as a bridge between your graphical interface and the underlying shell. Letting you use. It's built on top of the Virtual Terminal Emulator library, which handles rendering text, managing pseudo terminals to communicate with shell processes, and handling input-output easier in the shell. Okay. It spawns a new PTY. Is that PuTTY? Is that a PuTTY session? It starts your default shell inside this session. The virtual environment or terminal environment widget renders the shell output in the terminal window. Your keyboard input is pressed into the shell via the PuTTY or the PTY. Wait, is PTY? What's PTY stand for? PTY stand for. This is where I'm like I gotta like learn all these things. PTY stands for pseudo terminal. The key concept and how terminal emulators like GNOME work. So this is all the learning that I gotta do. I gotta like to do a lot of discovery for me to build this application. You gotta discover all the different things and how it works. A pseudo terminal is a software interface that emulates a physical terminal. It makes up two parts. Master controller side. That is what the terminal emulator like GNOME terminal interacts with, and then the slave, the emulated terminal side. This is what the shell connects to, thinking it's a real terminal. These are their terminologies that I need to understand and like architect my whole thing out of. Architecture. Let's think about this. So we basically need a PTY. Or I need a. I'm gonna forget this tomorrow, so I gotta like write this down. It's a pseudo terminal. I spent a year inside the rabbit hole of fixing my native language text rendering multiple levels of implementations, still not able to fix, but I learned a lot about terminals. Yeah. I imagine like there's like a lot of stuff. So PTY is pseudo terminal. What the frick? Why did it just do like a bracket? I don't know why it did bracket just now. What the? Okay, AI, stop helping me. Stop helping me. Gosh, freaking Toad. Terminal. No, don't help me. AI. Gosh. Just get on my face. I have like AI connected to this so it can like help me and everything with like continue. Actually, speaking of which, is my continue like okay, yeah, it is DeepSeek and it's doing its thing. All right. Sometimes it helps. It helps very much when I'm actually actively coding, but when I'm making notes, it's just like, oh, do you want to make notes? Here's how you make notes, and it like offers like to make the note for you, and it's like it doesn't even know what your note is. And it's like, shut up. All right, so a PTY software. I basically need to just copy this. I'm just gonna copy this. These are very important. These are very important definitions for how we're doing stuff. What the frick? Wait, how did I just do that? It just started rendering this whole thing. Wait, what? What? I don't know. That was weird. It just rendered my README file. I don't know the hotkeys for this stuff apparently. Okay. So we got pseudo terminal software that makes up two parts. So it has the master controller side, which is the this is what the terminal emulator interacts with. and then a slave. It's the emulated terminal side. This is what the shell connects to, thinking it's a real terminal. So basically, when I run my program in an already existing terminal, it's basically creating a slave. This is kind of weird. Am I gonna get demonetized for like saying words like that? Okay, it's gonna be a slave running in the master, which is the terminal that I'm in, which is the slave of its master, which is the overarching terminal application that it's in. So I'm guessing this is like a master slave mix. So I need to make what GNOME terminal or Xterm is. Wait, right? The controller. I need to make the controller. The slave, that's already been programmed. Like literally this one script, that's all you need to operate a slave. Things that I need to do to build the thing I want. But essentially this is the bare bones of a terminal. Okay, so the terminal emulator creates a PTY pair. It launches a shell connected to the slave side. The emulator reads output from the master side and displays it in the window. Wait, what? The emulator reads output from the master side and displays it in the window. Your keyboard goes to the master, which passes it to the shell, which is the slave. Right there. See, that is the slave. This is the master. This setup allows graphical terminals to behave. Oh, wait, you guys can't see what I'm doing. This setup allows graphical terminals to behave just like old school physical terminals, but entirely in software. Okay, you can list active PTYs in your system with, oh, wait, what? PTS. I see 02 and PT max as an output. Each entry, like blah, 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 is a pseudo terminal session. Is this PT max? Like my terminal is called, is that what it's called? I don't know. I just know it's terminal. It's the default thing to Bazite. So I don't know. If you're curious, I can show you how to use fork PTY and spawn a shell inside your own app, like building your own terminal emulator from scratch. So all of this hinders on how I'm supposed to make the master controller side. So what we're making, me processing everything that we've kind of done, is like bash, Z shell, PowerShell. Yeah. So I think in the grand scheme of things, we're building a controller that runs a terminal inside of it, and that terminal being just bash and command line stuff. And you're just altering command line stuff as commands, or like if there is like default commands to a terminal, like specific terminal, those are basically like stuff that's passed through and used as system commands, or libraries that already use system commands, kind of in a whatever sense. Like it's a more grand sense. So yeah, you might be right. I might just want to build an entire project out of Qt or Raylib, something like that, and then I make it work. Or I build it from scratch. The main thing is I don't want to dedicate a ton of time into either Qt or Raylib and then find out it can't do the functionality that I want. That's the rabbit hole I don't want to go down. Like, cause if I just go and spend like a month programming some kind of Raylib library to application and then find out that it can't do the features I want, then yeah, it sucks. This is where sometimes in a business sense, oftentimes you'll go and try to talk to like the people that made those libraries and be like, you pitch the idea of what you want to make. Like I pitched them like, hey, I want to make this kind of terminal with these kind of graphical interfaces. This is what I want it to look like. Maybe make it in PowerPoint. What do you want it to look like? Hand it to them and be like, is this possible with your application? If yes, I will buy a license to use your application to make my app. Or if it's free, it's free. But like that's kind of like the dynamic of an enterprise application when you're trying to do something. I'm kind of wondering if there's a way I can pitch this to somebody that understands these applications enough to be like, does this work in your application? If not, I'm not going to spend the time. If you're lying to me, I freaking want to punch you in the face. But hey, whatever. It's just, a cross-platform terminal was cool. Yeah, so because this guy just made it his whole thing in JavaScript. And I'm trying to build from the scratch here, like an actual real application, not just a JavaScript ran file. All right, Raylib. I think we just need to do a lot of. We have successfully compiled something though. So today we kind of using AI just threw out a thing. So let's see. Let's actually watch maybe what this kind of thing can be. Why are they showing Minecraft? Wait. Beta craft. Oh, somebody made something like Minecraft in his application. Oh my gosh. Can I just say, like, right off the bat, that's a really freaking cool application, or like game. Like Minecraft about scrolling for, or not Minecraft, what is it called? I forget what it's called. That's freaking cool. It's kind of funny, like in the ad, it's like they have an ad for their thing, and they throw really freaking cool gaming ideas in it, and it's like, yeah, if you're gonna show me that, then heck yeah. I don't quite understand that. Oh, wait, what the? That's pretty cool. Moose diver. That's silly. Wait, go back to this. What is this? Relative frame? That's good. I don't know. That was a kind of a unique game thing that I like. Classic Sudoku puzzles. Yeah. Galaxy Engine. Whoa. Just glossing over some really cool looking games. Wait, I'm trying to look at this. What is going on here? Full screen settings. Okay. Domain height. That's pretty cool. Robots versus aliens. Basically, Plants versus Zombies. Okay, got Mesh Inspector. I wonder. I do like me an RTS game. Swiss Army knife. Right. I don't need any of this. Of course, this is just me being fascinated by it. Like it's what it can do. So I'm just fascinated, but. Little gems like these kind of games that like are in these kind of weird things are kind of cool. Like, look at that. That's a cool looking rescue simulator kind of game. There's so many great cool looking ideas for games out there. That's kind of cool. You don't really see what's in front of you until it's there already or something like that. It's a parkour styled kind of game. Gosh darn this. What do I use? What do I do? I'm kind of thinking. Let me pull out draw.io and just think through the architecture of how the UI would look. Because I think I'm like missing a point of like how we should be doing certain things. Just do it, bro. Press the button. yeah. Daydream, you're like sometimes it is as simple as pressing the button. But I think I need to do a draw.io because I need to, for one, I have my vision on a piece of paper somewhere, but I think I need to put it on digital kind of thing. So basically what I want is I want a terminal. Oh, this is like, is this really like, no, is this locked in as a certain shape? That's so stupid. Gosh darn it. Okay. Basically what I want is I want like, or wait, can I make like, what kind of objects can I make really quick here? Let's get a little artistic, guys. Let's make some artistic-y things. I want rounded, like a full rounded side, because I imagine my terminal being like fully rounded kind of, but I don't actually want it to be restricted just to that. So basically what I'm thinking, actually I kind of wish I had my actual drawing of what I want. Oh, and Aiden, hi. Just letting you know I did see that message like earlier. But yeah, so basically, say you're on a drive D / home or something like that. This is your directory, right? Or actually, wait, no. Let's not even start there. You know what? Give me 1 second. Let's go grab my. I'm gonna go grab my guide. Okay, I'm back. I have to grab my actual what I drew it out to look like. I was drawing it at work because I had to put on a piece of paper. This is, yes, I have it. Okay, so I want there to be like, here, I'm gonna need a lot more of these squares. There's gonna be a lot of modules. Oh, module crazy. Okay, so it's gonna have a lot of things in it. Or actually, let me expand this by like a teensy bit. Just like make this like 2 blocks wide, and then yeah, just like that. Boom. All right. So this will be minimize. I'm not gonna include symbols in here just because that's gonna be graphics. So minimize, maximize this button. So this is the minimize, maximize. The maximize? What the frick am I typing? Maximize button. So that's the minimize, maximize button will be the left. Then it will have a module. This is where I'm gonna make a lot of freaking modules. It'll have a module kind of thing where this is directory. That's your dir, just like you have in a normal terminal, of course. Like has your directory, your whatever thing. It'll have a module for this is the input / command. I have experience with InGUI, but not Qt. Do you have experience with it? I want to use it for my project. I have no experience. I am raw beginner at a lot of this stuff. So I'm just right now I need to understand how I'm building something so I can then pick a appropriate C++ application engine, some kind of thing to be able to build my application. So, or in. So I'm trying to think through what I need, what's necessary, what's not necessary, so I can kind of like, go to the end of what I actually should use or what's my limitations. All right, so we'll have a thing over here that's going to be for so this will be a pin. All right, so let me think. All right, so I think this is going to be how the basic command line works. Yeah, all right, so this is your basic command line, right? The only difference between this and a normal command line is I have a minimize, maximize, and a pin. Oh, no. Oh, okay. I think there is a documentation for you. Sorry, my English is not very well. That's okay. That's okay. I understand you. I got you, man. I got you. Okay. Then there's gonna be another thing underneath all of this, and this will have rooted minimize, maximize over here doing its thing. So you can minimize, maximize basically a whole line to whatever. I guess, okay. I gotta have like all the examples. This needs to be like a use case thing where it has all the examples of everything. So basically a minimized application would look like that, kind of. And you click on it to maximize it. So this will be a minimized line, or this would be minimized command line. So minimize command line will minimize the output, which the output actually needs to be attached to it. It's actually going to be like kind of combined, both of them. Let me think. Then you're going to have, here, let me just copy all of these. Did that actually select all of them? I don't think it actually selected all of them. There we go. All right, Control C, Control V. Okay. So basically it's going to look something like this, where you have all of that minimize command line. This is a minimized here command, or this is a minimized output. That's probably what this one would be. There. So this is a minimized output example. That's a minimized command line example. This is the command line. This is, it'll have a minimized button in the bottom left here for minimizing the, which actually makes me question if this is a bubble. I have another bubble thing like that, it's going to overlap on a GUI sense. That'll look bad, GUI sense, but like, yeah. Pin. The pin is going to be more for scrolling. When you're scrolling up, it will basically, so if you're scrolling up, your pin things will be at the bottom, right? It'll kind of stay at the bottom as you're scrolling so you can see your current line. So you're automatically, the active line will always be pinned. I think that's basically it. Yeah. Oh, I need to probably write these things down. I need to write these things down, actually. Like, this is something I definitely, here, can I like copy certain things? Can I copy this? I didn't know I could use that, or I kind of knew, but it was a thing I could do. Auto pin active line. So you're gonna auto pin the active line. Technically there wouldn't be a minimize. Oh wait. I gotta think through this. Actually, wait, let me look at my thing really quick. So you got minimize, maximize, you got a pin button, you got your modules of all the other stuff. So this will be like, so say if you did like ls, yeah, if you, this is like you just did ls right here. And you're in directory D, I don't know. We're in home directory. or in a home directory or something like that. Basically what this would do is, let me get an example of home directory or something like that. Wait, that, I don't know if that actually copied. Let me. So basically it's gonna do all that. Can I stylize things? Text. Boom. Basically I want this to be kind of a folder. That's a bad example. Like this is like a folder icon. This is a folder icon. Just stuff like that. So it like will automatically do whatever, and like this is a X icon or whatever. So it'll have icons based on what kind of, like basically a normal directory. Gosh. Kushagra, hello. First, it makes it a better OS for programming. Can you explain? I do not think it's better. Nor do I think Windows is better, nor more Mac is better. Every operating system has its pros and cons. So it's just more of what do you prefer? Really, that's basically kind of what it is. I don't think it's actually better. Like I'm trying out Linux. Like I'm actually a Windows user by default. Like I worked with Windows my entire life. I've programmed in Windows at my one job. My new job now uses Mac. Like I'm programming like on a Mac OS. Like it doesn't matter what OS you're in, you can program on any OS. I'm actively using Linux. I'm trying to learn how Linux feels, what it does, how you do stuff in it. Things I find though is Mac OS, Windows. Those are designed and very well iterated. That it works. It just simply works because it's been iterated over like the past 20, 30 years or whatever, 20 to 30 years. But Linux has more options as far as you can basically do anything if you have enough time, knowledge, and patience. Like that's basically what it is. But yes, there's I don't think there's any pros cons to things. It's just something good to know, to learn though, if like for whatever sense. Okay, so let's say, so this will show minimize. This should show maximize symbol. This is kind of what you gotta do. When you make an application, you kind of need to like draw out what it would look like in the first place. Because if you don't draw what it looks like in the first place, then you don't have an actual image, like, understanding of what your own thing is. So basically, what I want is, and I want to have like the directory right here. So I'm kind of thinking this would be something like this. It would be, or wait, how did I do this? So this, and then that. Gosh darn it. This, then that. Oh, whoops. Here, let me zoom in so like we can actually understand what's going on here. Ugh, because I can't even see myself. Why does this thing keep not letting me do what I want it to do? Oh, wait, this already has space apparently. Ugh. I'm trying to make an example of like, the use case for my system of what I wanted to do and all the above. Oof, whoops. It's gonna, of course, this would be graphically done, not, so emphasis on this will be graphically done, not text done. So I do those, but I actually do want actual lines, like arrows and everything, not text done, because this is meant to be an actual like application of what I want to do. All right, so yeah, that's kind of how I imagine this to be. Oh, whoops. Actually, I'm kind of thinking, do you need to minimize, if you minimize the command line, would you minimize the output? I think you would, but that could be a setting. Yeah, yeah. Let's make a little box over here to the left or something like that we can just like type some ideas in. This is the idea box. All right. Setting for if you minimize command line, it minimizes output as well. Actually, it'd probably be the reverse of it. I think I'd have it default to minimize the output. So setting for to minimize output when minimize input. So that'd be like a preference setting, really. So here, let me make my idea box over here. Okay, we got an idea box. I gotta write these things down. If we don't write them down, then yeah, we got stuff. All right, so that could be a setting that we'd do where it would minimize the output automatic. So at first it'd be minimize output automatically if you minimize the command line. But yeah, I think it would just look something like this. And like when I say it looks something like this, I actually literally want bubbles or like, you know, modules, like they're actually squared off. I want those squares. Like they're like, you know, you have a command, it's boxed, and you have the output and it's boxed. I kind of want it like swaps in and there's a little spacing between each of them. Because I kind of want this to be really more graphically friendly to anybody that wants to use it. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So yeah, you gotta minimize output, minimize command line. You got that, you got pin. The pinning system is more for scrolling. So I'd actually kind of wonder if there would be a better way to do pinning. I kind of wonder, what if you did pinning as like, because I don't want a giant button on it. I wonder if pinning could be something where like you click the right side, like right here, and it would like to put a line in there, aka a pin, like a line that's like I pinned that. And like maybe that'd be a graphical thing that just makes sense. I don't know. It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I don't know. I wonder if I should like, you know, wait, booyah. Here, I'm just gonna like put these like really small like that. That way we can kind of see the idea of what we're looking at. Can I put spacing from the left? Yes. Oh yeah, that's much better. Sweet. This is a good looking example. We got an example of our application of what we want it to look like. Okay, so yeah, we basically have like a LS, and I'll like do that or something like that. I don't know. I do have a image. Wait, let me read some of my notes I put for myself. Sort alphabetical command alias description. Oh, this is for if I do a history or alias thing. Okay, one second. Okay. I got it. Okay, so this is what I want the command line or like the actual interface to look like, right? I also let's put this down here. I want a persistent file explorer up here. Or I'm gonna call it the persistent file explorer. Persistent file explorer. I spelled that wrong. How did I spell it? Persistent. ENT. And I don't know how to spell persistent. So this is your persistent file explorer. So you'll have like, you know, you have all your like little teeny. Here, let me just like file. I don't know. Like dir. I don't know. Like just like dir. file, I guess, you know. Actually, I'm trying to think about this, and I'm like, that would be like really weird looking, wouldn't it? Because what would happen is it would basically be because like when you look at it in normal File Explorer, this only works. No, I think you could still get it to work like that, where you have like the name underneath the file and like the symbol of the file. So it's like your persistent File Explorer. So like when you click on one of these things, it would basically do the command of cding to that, but also keeping your command if you're typing a command. So keep your command there. But like CD to like CDU to like what you need to be and stuff like that. So that's like kind of an overarching thing. Yes, so that's a thing. Then I want, okay, so this is gonna be, actually wait, no, let's box. We're making a big box here. Alrighty. It's gonna be the size of everything. So this box represents the entirety of, how do you, anybody know how to like get, I need a complete square, rectangle. Maybe does this rectangle? Okay, we want a rectangle. That's what we want. All right. So this is going to be the full-on application. Send to back. There we are. All right. Yeah. Like boom, boom. Yeah, I know this is so boring, guys. You get to see me like draw out what's in my mind for what this looks like in the like the end game. So this is going to be window. So application window. I don't know if there's a way. Is there a way to actually get this text to just, wait a minute. Maybe there is text. I just want to be at the top. That's like the main thing I'm trying to like get. Like I wanted to just be at the top. Or you know what? I'll just insert my own text up here. So this will be like the application window. This is the application window. So yeah. So you'll have, I guess depending on your theme, you'll have basically, you know, your basic X. Oops. Your whatever you want to call it thing, and then your underscore. I'll do 2 underscores. How does that sound? So you have that. Maybe you'll have in the other right side over here. I think baby woke up. I just heard baby, I think. And so I might have to go here soon. So like maybe you'll have settings button over here. Actually, I think this is gonna be, oh, here. Let me do this where it's like, this is like right here above the persistent. Oh crap. Yeah, this is here. This is here. This is here. This is here. I'm kind of wondering, do we want to throw everything into like a aliases thing, or do we just have them all listed across the top? I imagine like you'd want it listed across the top, right? Like, because that way it's less buttons to click to do certain things. Like right here, I don't even know what I can click. You put click settings and it does X and Y and all that other stuff. So I'd rather almost have it be like, you will need a settings to just be all inclusive of just settings. Maybe you have like you'll have view, of course, which will adjust how you view things. Like that will be all your whatever stuff. This will be your like a help one, and that help would direct you to like the actual true help that you need for doing your application and whatnot. Yeah. I think this is kind of what I'm imagining. Like, does it make sense, guys? What I'm trying to like build here? And I really do want it to be looks like that, basically. Like, of course, more pretty. Like, it would be rounded edges. It'd be rounded edges. It'd have like your directory like just listed in here. So all of these will probably actually be a lot thinner, of course, because I don't think you need these to be that thick. You just mainly need this to be square. Actually, that's square right there. Yeah, so these will be like, well, like these buttons would want to be square at least. I don't know, something like that. Just playing around with what's in my head so you guys can understand everything. Maybe it all works out. Don't know. Here, I'm just going to tediously modify this thing to be what I'm imagining. Enjoy my tediousness of what I'm doing, guys. So tedious. That looks like it's not even square. That's square, yeah. Oh, my eyes are like failing me or something like that right now. I think when you stare at the screen too long, it's kind of just like everything goes blurry, right, guys? I don't know. How's everyone's day? I think I just lost all attention as soon as they started. Like people, like I just started seeing me like micro adjusting like pixels, and it's like, okay, this guy's gonna be sitting here doing this for a while. Let's go to a different live stream. Yeah, he do boring stuff. We don't want to see this boring stuff. No, that's squared. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's what I want, right? So this is what I want it to look like. Uh-huh. So the real question is, how do I build this? If this is what I want my UI to look like, how do I want to have this built? Ugh. I don't know. I think I gotta ponder on this a little more, do some more research off stream, and then make a decision and just go at it. Just decide what I want to do and do it. Right? I think that's what I want to do, right? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go off stream here, probably do some research, figure out what I want to actually do for reals, and then we do it for reals, right? Figure out how we're gonna do it. But yes, we are making a pseudo terminal, and we're trying to make the master controller of our quote unquote pseudo terminal. This is a good diagram of what I want it to look like. I'm gonna control S this, and we're gonna control S this to sure my downloads folder. I don't know. Or save this here. Oh, my dog just came in. Hello, doggo. Okay. Well, with that, I'm gonna stop the live stream there. Thanks everybody for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. We'll maybe have a conclusion and start from there tomorrow. We did figure out how to compile or C++. That's kind of a cool thing we've done. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, like, subscribe.